What's up everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Jimbo, your host, and today you probably saw by the title, and that's probably why you clicked on this video, but today we're doing another cheap versus expensive video, and I think this one is going to be really fun. And one of these products is definitely not like the other one. So up on deck, on the cheap side, we have this product right here. This is Masterson'S car care since 1947. Their ceramic spray sealant. This 16-ounce bottle right here is gonna set you back about 20 bucks on Amazon in 1997, but let's call it 20 bucks. And on the expensive side, we have this product right here. This is the new Chemical Guys ceramic spray. This is their Hydrocharge. They're calling it, kind of a play on the whole hydrosilics, kind of a interesting play on words and title, but not surprised by Chemical Guys on that point. And this bottle right here is also a 16-ounce bottle, and this bottle is going to set you back $40 on Amazon.com. Let's talk about the cheaper Masterson'S car care spray sealant first. There's a couple points that I want to definitely point out. Obviously, Greg Masterson worked for Chemical Guys for a very long time and then branched out to start his own car care company. It says since 1947, and if you ask him, he said it's been a family business for a long time, and I like to take people at their word. So whether that's true or not, that's what the story is. However, his label looks just like Chemical Guys, but away from the name, I want to focus on what the product actually is, or more so is not. It's interesting because, again, like we've seen on some of the Meguiar's products, there's a play on words. He calls it a ceramic spray sealant. So what is it? Is it ceramic? Is it a sealant? What is it? It also boasts on the front of the label that it has advanced ceramic technology. Advanced ceramic technology, not just normal ceramic technology, advanced ceramic technology. That will be an interesting point when we look at some of the other findings in a little bit. Now, one thing that I really love about this Masterson'S bottle right here, or this product rather, is that it smells incredibly good. When we look at ceramic coatings in general, right, whether it's a well-known brand like Ceramic Pro, Pearl Nano, G-Technic, whatever, across the board, a professional grade ceramic coating smells horrendous. That's why a lot of people wear gloves, masks, because they're worried about the fumes and the damage that it may cause to their internal organs, and the warning labels represent that as well. On the flip side, this Masterson'S smells incredibly good, which is really nice from a user experience standpoint. It's also readily available, so it's very easy to get on Amazon.com. It's stocked with Prime shipping, so you can usually get it in 2 days max. Depending on your area, you may even be able to get it next day. So it's readily available at an inexpensive price at 20 bucks per 16 ounce. Has a lot of good things going for it. Those are probably the highlights that I like the most: the price, the accessibility, and the fragrance and ease of use. First thing I started out with was the towel test. Does it harden in the towel? So before I even applied it to any car surface, I wanted to see, is it going to harden in the towel? Because true silica does actually harden in a towel. When you wipe away a ceramic coating, it does harden in the towel. And one thing we saw with the Optimum ceramic spray is that it did not harden in the towel, and unfortunately, neither did the Masterson'S car care. Another thing I wanted to see was, does it harden in the sprayer, or does it harden around the ring of the bottle? All of which the answer was no. Another thing that I'm going to show you is, does it rainbow on the panel? So we're going to go through an application process. We're going to take these through the torture test, and we're going to integrate a new thing, which is gloss meter. A gloss meter. What are the gloss measurements, the gloss units? We're going to do that in a little bit coming up. But first, Chemical Guys Hydro Ceramic Spray. Over to the Hydrocharge ceramic, Chemical Guys ceramic spray. On the flip side, this stuff smells horrendous. I don't even know what the smell is, and I really wouldn't suggest smelling it. You get enough of a scent just by spraying it on the applicator, which is the recommended use or the recommended application process for this product, but it smells absolutely disgusting. And that's when I started to think, one of these products is not like the other one. I just didn't know which one it was. Even though this is the more expensive bottle, it still comes in at half the price of Adams for the same amount of product. Like the chemical, or the Masterson'S that boast about the advanced ceramic technology, the chemical guys one actually boast of the ultimate ceramic protection and the candy-like gloss. That was kind of one of their buzz terms that they latched onto throughout all their marketing, is that candy-like gloss. Back of the label, it also talks about silica and introduces that term silica, which the Masterson'S did not talk about silica, SiO2, or anything like that. The chemical guys does talk about the silica hardening, which led me to, is it gonna harden in the towel? So I sprayed it on the towel, and within the first 12 hours, it began to harden in the towel. It's kind of hard to show in this video. It began to harden in the towel, and then after about a day and a half, that towel was virtually useless and could not be washed out. Again, another difference from the Adams and the Masterson'S. Very, very interesting that it hardened in the towel. So another thing that happened was around the rim of the bottle, the silica, as it said in the label, started to develop around the ring of the bottle. Again, these are warning signs and good things that I actually want to see. When a label talks about when a label talks about a product, I actually want to see evidence of that. And for once, with one of these chemical guys products, I'm actually seeing proof, which is very cool to see. Okay, so one thing I wanted to do before we even get started, and I kind of got it taped off and ready to go, but I picked up this bad boy. This is a gloss meter. It measures in GUs, or gloss units. So what we're gonna do is, hopefully on the tape and it doesn't weather too much with the harsh chemicals, but we're gonna do gloss readings at each stage of the torture test, as well as before we apply it and after we apply it, after the cure, all that stuff. So this is going to prevent anyone from saying that I have, I'm going against CG or going against Masterson'S or whatever, and the proof will be in the gloss. So let's turn this bad boy on. And this panel has been compounded and then triple wiped with alcohol at 99%. So there's nothing on this panel. Let's get some gloss reading units. That one is at 79.5. So 79.5, and I'll try to put it on the screen as well. The Bear is at 78.5. 78.5. This one is at 79. So there we go. 79. So we are at 79.5 on the chemical guy side. This is pre-application of anything. We're at 78.5 in the middle. This is going to be our control section, and we're at 79 gloss units on the Masterson'S side. So let's apply it and then go from there. Applying the chemical guys first, because they talk about a 1 to 2 minute before wipe off. So I'm going to use the blue side of the applicator. I'm going to shake it up real well. I'm going to spray it over here directly onto the applicator, just as they say to do it. If I can get my sprayer to work. Did it harden? No, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if that's enough to spread it on this whole side, and it looks like it will be. So the spreadability is nice, and I know people are gonna say, well, you got the dent in that side. Your car has contours and body lines and body panels. The dent will be fine. A little bit is going a long way, and just kind of the play-by-play when you're laying this down, it looks like you're laying down something, and it looks extremely thick. Extremely thick. So I mean, those 3 little sprays in this applicator is way too much. Way too much. So, okay, there's the chemical guys. While that sets up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to the Masterson'S side. I'm going to flip to the gray side of the applicator, shake it, and I'm going to apply 3 lines just like I did. Spreading it on. Now, these are the Saver applicators. So there's a barrier in between them, on top of the foam, in between the fabric, so it's not seeping through. The Masterson'S kind of goes on the same. It doesn't quite look as thick, but it's going on pretty much the same. Again, the Masterson'S isn't necessarily directed to do it this way, but since I'm doing it on the chemical guy side, I want to try to make it as even as possible because it doesn't say not to do that. So I'm going to let that set up for 2 minutes and we'll come back. Something interesting I just wanted to point out. This is the chemical guy side and you could see the product on the panel right there. See it in the light? Looks very, very thick. If we jump over to the Masterson's side, this is pre-wipe, so I have not wiped it at all. I've just applied it. It looks clear, like nothing's there. So I'm assuming that the wipe off on the Masterson's is going to be much easier. There's our control section and then the chemical guys. So again, the theme here is that one of these is not like the other. I'm just not sure which one it is. About 2 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it off. Again, the chemical guy's side still looks like the product is still there. It doesn't, hasn't really rainbowed per se, or really flat. I guess it's flashing. And I think the good part about that is if you think about who the buyer of this Hydrocharge is going to be, it's going to, whoa, that is slick. It's going to be a consumer, and you really want to have, when you're hitting the DIY consumer market, and this may be their first kind of interaction with a ceramic, you want it forgiving, you don't want it super hard. That is extremely slick, and even after letting it set up for 2 minutes, it came off really good. One thing I forgot I want to do on both sides is leave a high spot, so I'm going to do that. Go back to the chemical guys on the blue side of the applicator, and I'm going to leave a high spot right here. So right there, I'm going to leave that, leave that high spot there. The wipe off, very easy. For how thick and tacky that looked, it came off very, very easy on the wipe off. So that's very, it seems to be forgiving, at least on the application. Now the Masterson'S, I don't really know if there's anything to, oh yeah, okay. A little bit to wipe off. A little bit to wipe off, but again, nothing really seemed to flash in a good way, because there was really, it didn't look like there was too much left behind, which maybe that means it all absorbed. I don't know. Again, let me do a high spot, the gray side, do a high spot right back here, right over here, and I will mark that high spot here, and high spot here. Boom, there we go. We're gonna let it cure for a full 24 hours indoor as recommended by the chemical guys, and then we will take it through the torture test. All right, before we move into the torture test, I wanted to show you the high spots that we left. So this is the chemical guy side, and right, you could see beyond, obviously it's pretty clear. There's the high spot for the chemical guy side, right there, that whole strip kind of south of that main scratch. And if you look at it, I'm gonna put a wet towel on it, but I cannot get it off. This is the Masterson'S side. It's kind of hard to see. There is a little bit there, definitely not as much. You could see kind of right there, there's a little bit, not much, but there's definitely something there. So just wanted to show that. 24 hours, so I want to get into the gloss meter readings, and I made these marks right here because, ooh, I left another high spot right there. I want to make sure I'm measuring the same part every time. We're outside, but we're in the shade, so let's start with the chemical guys. I'm going to start in the same spot every time. Maybe it's right there. Okay, so we're actually at 81. I'm going to do it again just to make sure. 81, we're at 79.5 on the middle, right in that kind of range. And let me see the Masterson'S, we're at 79.5. So, you can see how slick it is, it's almost sliding off. Okay, 79.5, so let me start over. Let me do it again. Turn this off, see if the readings are any different. I'm gonna go into the same spot again. So now we're at 80.5. 79.5. It's not even sticking right there. And 79.5. So it's interesting. We have some, it's actually gone down a little bit. So I'm going to mark the first readings. First is 79.5 on the Masterson'S. What were we here? We were at 79.5. So we're obviously dealing with a bit of a margin of error here. And that is at 81 on the first go. So, all right, let's wet it and see where we're at there. Again, this has had a full 24-hour cure time on both sides. And what I want to see is what happens to that high spot. So the chemical guys is sheeting water a little bit more than it's beading water, which is what we really want to see, right? We don't, even the Masterson'S isn't beading water in nice round beads, but it's, you're not in the frame yet, honey. And neither one of them are really producing, yeah, kinda. Careful. Neither one of them are really producing that round of beads, right? So we've seen a lot better beading out of other products, you know, Brilliant Shine Detailer and stuff like that, but that's okay because what we actually want to see is sheeting. And if you look at that, there's actually less water on the chemical guy side than there is the Masterson's side. Obviously our control panel is sheeting water and that's bare clear coat. I would like to see one or the other. This, where the Masterson's currently is, kind of doesn't do it for me. Got the water off pretty quickly. And the rate that the water went off both of the surfaces pretty quickly. So first up on the torture test, we're going to be doing Eagle One triple cleaning foam. It's a gloss meter.
What's that?
Measures how shiny the paint is. That's a blower. Leave it off for now, okay? You could help me in a sec. Be interesting to see if the iron remover takes care of that high spot on either one of them. Be interesting. Don't turn it on, okay, bud?
How do you going?
Yep.
How do you turn it on?
It's okay.
Alright guys, let Dada finish doing his videos, okay? It's time for us to go inside.
They can hang, it's fine.
Dada asked you not to turn it on, okay, baby? I'm sure, you know what, Dad will probably play with you with this as soon as he's done. What did Dada ask?
As I've been rinsing this, let's do it again. Got a little, babies are out. So it looks like when I rinse that, the CG side or the chemical guy side, look at how fast that's sheeting water. Again, we didn't have those beads, but look at how look how much less water is actually on the panel. Now the Masterson's is also sheeting water at a faster rate than the control section, so let's hit both, but the behavior has changed. The high spot is still intact. Let's wet it with, and I got another high spot over here, so let's wet it down, make sure I got rid of all the residue on both sides to be fair. And then let's see what we're dealing with here. So look at that, you can see how quickly that chemical guy's side is getting rid of the water, whereas the Masterson's is just kind of still sitting there. See that? That's pretty crazy. And that's what you want, right? You want rapid, you want less water on the panel. So look at when I move the water over, look at that, significantly less water on the chemical guy side. Even as I wet it down more, Masterson's still is less. there is, or sorry, I'm having a hard time with everything going on, but it's still sheeting water faster. Started to significantly struggle with blowing off the water. Now the chemical guy's side wasn't great with that either. All right, let's take the gloss meter reading. Oh, this side is so slick. So we're still at 81 on the chemical guy's side. And we're at 80, 79.5 still. So I got to work on this gloss meter. It's really, really sensitive. And I should look up maybe the margin of error, but we're still at 79.5 and still at 81. So though the products have taken a little bit of a beating, what hasn't happened is we haven't really seen any reduction in gloss, at least according to the meter. So that's cool to see. All right, what do we got up next? Up next, we have the Optimum Power Clean. Let's check it out. This is definitely the sealant killer. It'll be interesting to see. The Masterson'S high spot's gone, but it'll be interesting. I have two high spots on the chemical guy's side, one intentional, one not intentional. So it'll be interesting to see how much it takes. Maybe Optimum Power Clean will take care of that. Obviously, you're not going to leave a high spot like that on your car, but at least, you know, with the like the Adams ceramic spray, the high spot got wiped off simply with just water. A towel with water. So be interesting to see if this high spot gets knocked down with a Optimum Power Clean. You could see again, I should have my gloves on, but okay, that's good to see because we're seeing that again on that high spot specifically, not really anywhere else. Again, fighting off the product or a reaction of some sort happening. So it'll be interesting to see if that high spot is still there through Optimum Power Clean. All right, let's do that. Let me go steal the hose back and get this residue off. Let's see where we're at. I'm gonna spray some water, okay, bud? Why don't you go over to the grass? I'm not gonna spray you, but go over to the grass a little bit. Try not to, okay? I'm gonna try not to get you. All right, so both have definitely taken a strong beating. The high spot, I can already see it right there, still there on the chemical guy's side. This high spot, I mean, look at that. Both have taken a serious beating, which is pretty common from Optimum Power Clean. Optimum Power Clean is pretty good with completely obliterating everything. But let's dry this off. And look at that, both significantly struggling to get the water off. Nothing like it once was, nothing like it. Let me do the wet towel just to make sure nothing's on there. No residues even left, sorry about that. And it looks like Optimum Power Clean took care of that. Didn't take care of that high spot, but it looks like it kind of took care of this high spot down here. But I would venture to say that the chemical guys could withstand a lot more than the Masterson'S from that. But let me know what you guys think below. Let me know. Okay, so now that I hit it with a wet towel, we had some residue left on there. So look at both sheeting faster than the control section, and they both started to sheet a little bit better once I wiped it with the wet towel. See if we have a clear winner here. So there, the chemical guys looks like it's sheeting slightly faster, not really too close to tell, and they honestly all really look like the control section. I'm gonna say they're both dead. Too close to call, in my opinion, at this point, but let's, just for fun, do the super clean, because I gotta clean this panel anyway. Gotta get it all off. I would say that the chemical guys definitely made it longer through the torture test than the Masterson'S did, and the Masterson'S definitely got knocked down with just an iron remover, which is kind of in the same category. Sorry, I took a little super clean right to the nostril. You know, again, there's better options for that, for if you want water beading, but I'm not sold that water beading is all that. And chemical guys held in better than the Adams ceramic spray. The Adams ceramic spray took a big beating from an iron remover too, and the high spot would just, water got knocked down. And I think I even let that go for like 4 days. So maybe if I would have let this go a little bit longer, that high spot would have been harder to remove. I don't know, but it definitely, the chemical guys one lasted longer than the Adams did. Let's see if I took care of that other high spot up top. All right, let me do the wet towel. Still a lot of residue on there. I think I'm gonna return that gloss meter. I mean, it just kind of finicky and just did not seem to be. I'm gonna take one final gloss reading. Maybe I'll get a different gloss meter. I'll do one final gloss reading after this one, but kind of disappointed in the gloss meter, to be honest. Really finicky, really depends on where you're setting it up at. Let's see. And there you go. I think that concludes the torture test right there. Both those are incredibly flat. Incredibly flat. Only now starting to sheet, but pretty much at the same levels as that control section. So was I right, or was I right? One of these products is definitely not a ceramic spray. One of them definitely leans more towards being an actual silica ceramic content product. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Which one, if any of these, are you going to pick up, or do you have a favorite brand? Does the turtle wax hang in longer than either one of these? Let me know which one you think won in the comments below. And are you a little offended? And that's one big gripe that I've had with a lot of these products, not necessarily these two, but a lot of products in the past is what's in the bottle is simply not what they say on the label. So I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching. See ya.